everybody, and welcome back to the channel where we are today going through another Patreon request video. I know I've been kind of churning these out a lot recently. I'm proud of myself. I've finally managed to bully people into giving me what they want me to make for videos. I do feel bad about that, but at the same time it needs to be done, so here we are. Lloyd requested another one of the Everqueen videos because I've still got like 4 streams worth of her painting to kind of show you guys, and obviously I do want to finish her soon, but there's still lots of lore and story to explore with this lady, so we're gonna dive straight in. This time we're going to talk about something that I did mention in the last video, which is the Battle of Finuval Plain, which was the climactic battle which brought an end to the invasion of the island continent of Ulthuan by the combined forces of the Dark Elves and the forces of Chaos during the Great War against Chaos in 2302 IC. It was fought on Safari's Finuval Plain, obviously, between the Azure and the Drushi alongside the Warriors of Chaos, and led to an unexpected victory for the High Elf forces led by the twin brothers of Tyrion and Teclis. This is also, I believe, one of the expansions that they did for the world of sorcery or chaos sorcery, where they also introduced the cult of Slaanesh, which I did have for a while. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. I feel really bad about that, but having moved a couple of times, you have to get rid of stuff, unfortunately. So let's dive straight into the Dark Elven invasion. So even as the Warriors of Chaos and their daemons and beastmen allies penetrated deeper into the realms of the old world during the Great War against Chaos, the Dark Elves of Naggaroth struck their own pact with the ruinous powers in Malekith's determination to retake his birthright no matter the cost, and the Black Arks sailed out together with the Plague Fleet manned by the worshippers of Nurgle, the Chaos god of disease and despair. The Dark Host set out towards the island continent of Ulthuan, the homeworld of their mutual and deeply hated enemies, the High Elves. The Dark Elves and their Chaos allies swept the seas clear of Ulthuan's once vaulted navy and took the Blighted Isle and the lands of Naggaroth. In 2301 IC, Malekith, the Witch King of Naggaroth, set foot once more upon the land he had so long lusted after. The unprepared High Elves faced defeat after defeat, and a large part of Ulthuan was looted, burned and pillaged. In one of these raids, the Everqueen Alariel escaped from death at the hands of the Dark Allies, rescued by the valiant warrior Prince Tyrion, and the pair fled from the forests of Avalon, which fell into the hands of the Dark Elves following their surprise attack. The heart of the High Elven populaces were filled with despair as they thought the Everqueen and Tyrion both lost. The High Elves were driven back until only the kingdoms of Caldor, Safari and the city of Lothran remained under their control. The High Elves' military had been so thoroughly ground down by the Dark Elves and their Nurglish allies that they could muster little more than a campaign of guerrilla warfare to harry the advancing foe. But with the help of the High Elven mage Teclis, then an unknown, young High Elven wizard, small victories were achieved. Among the greatest of these was when Teclis slew Ferric Casterman, the powerful sorcerer of Zinch, and his coven of 10 fellow sorcerers in the Battle of Hathar Ford. Malekith, unsatisfied with just the rumours of his foe's death, sent forth 4 Cainite assassins to bring him the body of the Everqueen. She and Tyrion tried to hide from their Dark Elven pursuers as Tyrion, struck earlier by a witch elf's blade, slowly succumbed to its poison. Upon their discovery, the assassins were killed, but not before sending a message to the Witch King, who summoned Nakari, a powerful Slaaneshi keeper of secrets, and sent the greater demon forth to slay the High Elven leaders. It was Teclis who came just in time to banish the daemon back to the realm of chaos, and to save his brother Tyrion and the Everqueen from death. The 3 were picked up by a white ship on the shores of the inner sea of Ulthuan, and they swiftly joined the remains of the High Elven army assembled at the Finuval Plain, just in time to meet the gathering Dark Elven and Chaos forces as they moved to claim the rest of Ulthuan. Both forces gathered for a final confrontation in 2302 IC upon the plain in Safari that would determine the destiny of the island continent and the High Elven people. In the year 139 of the 11th Phoenix King, which is 2302 IC, the fate of Ulthuan hung in the balance once more. The Dark Elf army that massed on the Finuval plain was large beyond counting, bolstered by both the fell warriors of chaos, allies from the old world, and the Witch King's terrible sorceries. Yet the High Elves possessed the courage of desperation. They knew that defeat here would doom not only their fair land, but also the entire mortal world. Wrathful at the failure of his Cainite assassins to slay the Everqueen, the Witch King, as we've mentioned, loosed the demon Nakari to hunt her down. Tyrion held the Keeper of Secrets at bay, but the prince was outmatched and saved only when his twin Teclis arrived and banished the demon to the realm of chaos. Cloaked by Teclis magic, the trio reached the shores of the Inner Sea. There, a white ship crewed by the remaining handmaidens of the Everqueen carried them to the Finuval plain, where the shattered remains of the elf armies were assembled to make one final, desperate last stand. As the battle raged, the monstrous reptilian Cold Run mounts of the Dark Elves were hamstrung by nimble shadow warriors, and poison bolts ricocheted from the armour of Kaldorian dragon princes. Cainite assassins plied their bloody trade, striking down princes and mages wherever the High Elves gained advantages. Phoenixes swooped through the ranks of Witch Elves, the roiling air of their wake-setting hair and flesh ablaze. On the right flank, full plate-clad Chaos Warriors exchanged blows with the Swordmasters of Hoeth, and White Lions hacked at Slaughter Brutes and Winged Chimera. All about, spells crackled back and forth through the air, and blood mingled with the dust thrown up by the battle. Thousands died, but neither side gave any ground. So great was the carnage that warriors fought over the bodies of their dead, and ravens feasted upon the wounded trapped within the mounds of corpses. Tyrion fought in the very centre of the battle, striving with the fury of an enraged beast. His great burning blade cut down foes with every stroke, and where he rode, the High Elves took heart. Meanwhile, Teclis wrestled with the Witch King's dark sorcery, and for the first time encountered a foe that was his match. Lightning streaked across the darkening sky. Terrible clouds of black sorcery capable of stripping warriors to the bone were turned aside by magical winds. Daemons tore their way through to the mortal world and brought fresh carnage to a battlefield already heavy with slaughter. This alone might have spelled doom for the Aserai, had it not been for the actions of the Everqueen, who sent a wave of blazing magical light slashing through the demonic ranks, banishing many thousands of them from this mortal world and back to the realms of chaos. Alas, this deed saw her already waning powers completely spent, moments after her unconscious body was borne from the battlefield by her surviving handmaidens. It soon became clear that even the deeds of heroes could not overcome this dark host. Tyrion could not be everywhere at once, and Teclis could not halt every spell. Slowly the weight of numbers turned against the High Elves, and Teclis saw that the battle had turned, and that the High Elves would be massacred if something desperate was not attempted. Gathering his strength, Teclis invoked the power of Lilith, the elven goddess of dreams and fortune, his staff glowing with brilliant light as the goddess fed him magical energy. With one final effort, Teclis sculpted the power into one titanic burst and unleashed it upon the Witch King. Frantically, the Evil One tried to turn Teclis' assault aside, but he could not. The blast descended upon him, burning into Malekith's twisted soul. At the final moment, he was forced to magically hurl himself into the realm of chaos to avoid utter and final destruction. Freed now from the burden of dealing with the Witch King, Teclis turned his sorceries upon the evil horde of Drushi and the worshippers of chaos. Magical flames sprung up amongst the Dark Elves' ranks, and bolts of pure magic thundered from the heavens. Through the maelstrom of magic rode Tyrion, his sword arm weary but his wrath unabated. With a single mighty blow, the High Elf Prince cut down the Witch King's standard barrier, and his steed trampled the fallen banner into the mud. Seeing their dreadlord defeated, the Dark Elves fell into despair and withdrew from the field. After the Battle of Finuval Plain, Asarnil the Dragonlord had been ordered to link up with the High Elven forces marching from the city of Lothran in Etain. Once he and his fellow dragon princes of Kaldor arrived, the combined forces of Lothlorien and Kaldor were able to destroy the last major Dark Elven army still operating within Ulthuan. But before Ursunil could fly to the Phoenix King Funabar's aid, word came that Kaldor itself was under attack. Under the command of Ursunil, an entire fleet of the dragon princes sped back through the skies to protect their homeland. In a brilliant assault, the dragon-riding princes swept the Dark Elves to the sea, and Kaldor was saved from conquest. Triumphant, Ursunil headed back towards the rendezvous with the Phoenix King, confident that great rewards and honour awaited him upon his arrival. On hearing that his orders had been disobeyed, Funabar instead became enraged. If his troops had come under attack without the support of the dragon princes, they would have faced total destruction. When Ursunil and his fellow dragon riders arrived at the Phoenix King's camp, no parade awaited them. Instead, Ursunil was summoned before the Phoenix King to account for his actions. Enraged that the Phoenix King would accuse him of betrayal when he had actually helped save his homeland from destruction, Ursunil swore that he was no longer a subject of the crown of Ulthuan. The response was Funabar, the seafarer, was quick and harsh. Ursunil would be stripped of his title and lands and banished from Ulthuan unless he faced the Phoenix King's justice and accepted the prescribed punishments. Prideful to the last, Ursunil declined. Ursunil was now a High Elf prince without a domain, a lord in exile. He gathered his weapons and armour, mounted his green dragon Deathfang, and left the blessed Isles of Ulthuan behind to reach the distant land of Tilia, where he would offer his service as a rare elf mercenary to the realms of men. So that's brought up a couple of interesting extra characters, hasn't it? Well, once again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you, Lloyd, once again for requesting it. As always, take care, everybody, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.